Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for my Week 6 presentation on how to request public records for the Federal Trade Commission for Dr. S's course, MPA 580. All right everyone, so to locate the Federal Trade Commission FOIA request or public records request, I just searched FOIA. This was the easiest way. I clicked on the first search result, which was the foia.gov website. I then went down to start your request. And this is actually a really cool tool. If you don't know the agency that you want to look up, or you're just kind of playing around doing a search, you can search A to Z, or if you already know, you can just type the agency name in directly. So I just wanted to go through this and show you a couple before I clicked on the Federal Trade Commission. So starting with the EPA, it shows that currently this agency does not utilize the FOIA system, but it gives you the option to submit the request to the agency with an online submission form. And then it also gives an average, so 77 working days for simple requests and then 282 working days for complex requests. So that was based off of 2018 statistics. It also provides links to records that may already be available, so that way you don't have to submit an additional request and you can just locate it on the agency's website, and also gives you a contact if you have any questions. So going over to my initial request, or the request for this assignment, you would go to F for Federal Trade Commission. It's the last one. You'd click on Federal Trade. They actually do utilize this website, and they are fairly quick at providing or processing their requests, or at least for the statistics taken for 2018. It was 12 working days for simple requests and 45 working days for complex requests. So much better than the EPA's processing time. And then it also provides a contact, a public liaison, and his contact number. And then also, same thing like with the EPA, you can look up records that may have already been made public. So we'd start a request, assuming that it's not already been requested and not available to the public. So we'd click on Start Request. Pretty easy. There are only 6 steps. So your first step is you would make your request, which includes adding in all of your contact information. Second part of the step is the actual request. So this is where you would put in what you want to locate with the Federal Trade Commission. If you have any questions on statistics or the economics of Amazon, Google, Facebook, anything really, a lot of those are actually already listed under the frequently asked portion. If you were to go under, if you clicked that tab on that first page that showed frequently asked, to just double check that your request isn't being submitted redundantly. But assuming that Amazon's question isn't already in there, you could just put in your Amazon question. Step 3 is if you were doing a first party request, meaning if you wanted to submit a request for your own records, then you would update the required information to verify your identity so that you can get that information on yourself, because obviously there are privacy laws. They don't want a random person being able to request records that they shouldn't have access to. Then step 4, it's where they go over the fees. There are fees or they have the right to charge fees, but they also will waive fees per your request. So all you have to do is just put in waiver justification and then the amount of money you're willing to pay, if any. And then step 5 would be the requested for expedited processing. However, it would not, in our case, for an assignment purpose, it would not justify an expedited process, because it can only be justified for number 1, if it's could reasonably expected to pose an imminent threat to life or physical safety on an individual if not expedited, or 2, if the person is primarily engaged in disseminating information by demonstrating that there exists an urgency to inform the public. So this is just for an assignment. It would not apply in our situation. So we would just click no. And then the final step would just be to review and submit. And then The agency, like I said in that first page, it showed the statistics on how quickly they respond back. So they should respond back in that roughly around the same time that the statistics provided. Otherwise, you can reach out to the person, in this case, the liaison, which is also listed here on this tips for submitting page. You could reach out to Richard Gold, the FOIA public liaison, and get a status update on your request. I also included the link to the website I showed in the previous slide, which was the first one, the Freedom of Information Act. That goes directly to the Federal Trade Commission link for public records request. And then I also included the Federal Trade Commission website itself if you guys just wanted to do any sort of research or look anything up. Thank you all for joining me for this week 6 presentation. I really enjoyed this style of assignment, and I can't wait to view all of yours. Have a great week.